Hello everybody, this is Ian here bringing you game 2 of Vortix versus the STC from DreamHack Valencia 2012, the quarterfinals, and it is going to be on Cloud Kingdom. And we've got the STC spawning as the blue Terran up in the top side, and down on the bottom side we have Vortix spawning as the red Zerg. And there is going to be the good luck, have fun, have a good game being thrown down by both players, which is very tactically important because it just shows to your opponent that you're going to be well mannered. You're not going to try anything sort of outlandishly stupid and try to use the. I quite like the way that it's sort of called the cheese timing, where you are too busy concentrating on getting a nice 6 pool or your sort of early barracks up, your 2 barracks up, that you forget to actually say good luck, have fun, and so 40 seconds into the game you get good luck, have fun from the other player. And yeah, it actually works, at least in Bronze League, for identifying when a player is going to cheese, because you say good luck, have fun once you've sort of started your initial drones and got everyone mining optimally, and then the other guy waits about 20 seconds before saying good luck, have fun. It's a tiny bit of a telltale, but the scouting overlord is going to saunter its way across the map, and I think it is definitely sauntering, judging by the flailing of the dangling limbs. And it looks as though he's going to also put an overlord over the natural just to check that there's no proxy barracks. But the SCV is going to go into a weird place, and it's building a barracks down there, which is different. Presumably he wants to try and trick Vortix into thinking that he's going to play quite a conservative macro build, when he could actually decide. Where's that actually rallied? That's rallied all the way to the natural, so we might be seeing a 2 racks push, but it's not too close to the enemy base, and there's the other racks going down. So tiny bit of a strange position, but I think in game 1 I cast it quite a while ago, I think at least 1 week ago, because just time scheduling just didn't work out with recording this game. But the second back's going to be thrown down, presumably just to make sure that Vortix sees that there is 1 barracks at least being built, which will sort of not set the alarm bells ringing as much, even though it might be slightly delayed from what you'd expect. But the spawning pool has just been thrown down at around 14 supply, so pretty standard build, and it was of course hatchery before spawning pool, so quite a macro orientated build coming out of Vortix. But the drone will see that barracks. Has it seen the other one yet? No, it hasn't. If I flick it back to everyone. But the wall-off's going to be commencing, and I think Vortix might have just gone, something seems up, and there's the second barracks. And I just pressed the B button, didn't I? Why did I just press the B button instead of the E button? But we're going to go back about 10 seconds, and we're going to see the drone come out again, and this factory finish off building. But we are going to see this SCV deciding to scout over, and with the timing of this, he's got 1 marine just coming out now, and he's actually got 2. No, that's an SCV, not a marine. But he might be deciding to. Yep, there's the bunker, and Vortix needs. Yeah, he sees it with the overlord straight away, and I think he might see it with the hatchery as well. But he has started to rally all the units to next that, and 7, I think. Yes, 7 drones have been pulled, and that should be able to just eke away at the life of this. I think this 8th drone's going to get pulled as well, and he could lose 1 or 2 workers in the process, but there's the cancel, and those workers are going to try and... No, the SCV just gets away. He could have min-all tricked it anyway, but that SCV does get finished off, and we are seeing 4 lings in production, so we're going to see heavy ling production in the meantime, and another 8 lings. So Vortix is really going sort of all out to counter this. I think that game 1 STC tried to use this as well. I know I've seen him use it before somewhere, but as that bunker gets killed quite quickly, and there's the 3rd one. I think this might just be sort of the last chance that STC has to actually use this. But the rest of the Zerglings are going to come out and start to try to deny this. But if we go to units lost, at the moment the STC has lost more, but the losses are slowly accruing for both players. I think it might come out of this actually even on units lost, with some good stutter step coming out of looks as though there's a pause there from the chat, but looks as though they've lost exactly the same amount of resources, and those Lings are just going to try and stop that. Yeah, they managed to stop that SCV from finishing this off, and I don't think there'll be another SCV forthcoming in the meantime. No, however, there is an expansion just started off the back of this pressure, and the spine crawler is going to start to pop out as well, mainly because he just wants to make sure that this can't happen. That queen, it could start to get taken down. 4 Marines versus a queen and a Zergling and a spine's the spine's basically going to finish, but he will be able to. Yeah, he'll be able to get up into the main base. He might start Vortix might start have to begin pulling probes. That Ling just dies ultra quickly. But that queen, I think, if it comes any closer, then it will die. But that queen's going to get away with it, because there's no way that Vortix can actually get back down the ramp. Not Vortix, the STC can get back down the ramp. But that expansion is nearing completion, and we are seeing the macro CC coming out. The STC, I think, thinks he's playing a Zerg, as a Zerg, and however we do have double refinery now, so probably going to see a factory shortly, or at least tech lab, and then heavy marauder play. But the queen gonna sort of waddle its way out. It's off creep, so it has, what is actually its move speed? 0.94. So probably one of the slowest units in the game, other than I think Mothership has a slower speed, and Overlords, yeah, Overlords are 0.59. They go up to 0.89 with Overlord speed. But the CC is going to begin morphing, and we're going to see another 2 barracks taking us up to 4 racks. The macro CC is going to finish up shortly, but we have double gas being taken for Vortix, 1 at the main, 1 at the natural, just to make sure they're evenly distributed. And we are seeing the factory coming down already, so it's going to be a pretty solid wall off here actually, and he's going to try and kill off that Overlord. Will he manage to get it before the vision goes? I don't know. No! And that, yeah, the barracks has to lift up again to actually kill off that Overlord, but that doesn't hinder Vortix anyway. He's got another Overlord building. It might just supply block him for a couple of seconds, but it's not going to be that much of a hardship, because he sort of foresaw that and is just building another Overlord anyway. But the third hatch coming down for Vortix, so at the moment STC is ahead in the base count, which is a bit worrying as Zerg, and Vortix is only now getting Ling speed, so it might, I think if anything Vortix is just slightly behind. However, Stim is only just starting at the moment, but that barracks is going to lift up just to allow those SCVs to come back through, because we don't want to leave them out in the cold. And the factory, I think it might swap over for the tech lab. No, it's swapping over for the reactor actually. They're doing the flip and change, and that orbital command might decide to float over when it thinks it's safe. But yes, double Hellions coming out now, so it's going to be another pressure. So I think STC is just going full on pressure, because it's going to be pressure, bunker rush, into pressure with Hellions. But double Evo chamber to wall off, as well as the spine. It's going to be quite hard, especially if he gets a queen in that gap, to block it off. That queen, I think, if he sees any pressure, he will probably pull back. And the creep spread is getting pretty good now. It's reached the 3rd base, and it's beginning to reach the Zelnaga Tower. I think that tumor might make it reach the Zelnaga Tower. However, we do have double engineering bay finishing up, so we are going to be seeing 1-1 upgrades pretty shortly. And there's the 1. And is the other one going to start up? Yeah, there's the 1, and there's the other one. So still going to see some Hellions being produced, as well as 2 reactors, and 1-1 for the, I think that'll be for Lings, because it's melee attacks. But the Baneling Nest, I didn't actually notice this before. has been thrown down, as well as Lair being thrown down at the main. But the Hellions are going to try, and Marines are going to try and make their way in, possibly pick off a queen or two. No, but now they're going to try and go for the hatchery. No, those Marines haven't stimmed yet, so they've still got a good couple of stims left on them. The Hellions are going to back out, and they're going to try and swing around, I think. But here come the Lings, and this force is now doomed. Unless the Hellions can get something decent done. However, they're now on creep. The queens can move faster, and STC has decided that it's a useless endeavour to try and go for any front door pressure. I don't know if he saw the double Evo chamber. No, he didn't. He just knows the spine crawler's there, which might even have just been enough to just make him decide, no, I don't want to go there. But the Warloff is now being reinstated with dual supply depots. And another 2 barracks are coming down, so it's going to be extremely heavy bioplay off 3 bases, so 3 mils at a time, which gives an income of roughly 1,600 when everything's mining, and roughly even gas. But we do have Spire like 50% complete by the looks of it, and Baneling hooks as well. So Banelings are a distinct possibility, as well as an armory, so we may see Thors, or it just might be for vehicle upgrades. But Thors could be quite good if there's any Mutalisks coming along at any point. But tanks at the moment, no Thors yet. Armory hasn't finished up yet. But double medevac on that from that reactor, so possibly going to try some drop play. And that Hellion's gonna just let that command center land by killing the Zergling that was trying to sort of prevent that. But that Zergling just gets completely obliterated by the squadron of 16 Marines with 2 medevacs, so they'll be able to lift pretty easily, because 8 Marines per medevac, 2 medevacs, that's 16 Marines that he can support with those 2. But that Ling is going to just, I think Vortix's tactic is just keep throwing Lings at the supply towers just so you know what your opponent's doing. And that third base is pretty well established, getting double gas, so STC is going for a loss of gas. And the medevacs are going to bring, and there's a stim, but to no avail. He sees that there's quite a large force there, so going to back out for now, probably heal up and just try to wander back home, tail between the legs, and those Marines are just going to take down that Zergling. But we might be seeing an interception. Those Marines stim forward. I think they took down 1 Mutalisk just then, but vehicle level 1 and weapons level 2, I believe. Yes, weapons level 2, and a couple of Mutalisks going on to low health. And I don't know who came out of that engagement better or worse. I think it was roughly even, but Vortix has now got the opportunity to seize a 4th base, which he does. And there is a bunker coming down. Yes, it is actually at the 3rd. And another factory, so we are going to probably see him gearing up into even more mech. So there's a lot of SCVs on this mineral patch. It looks slightly oversaturated. Yes, it is actually oversaturated. I think he might need to transfer some to another base. But those mutas just decided to pick off a couple of Hellions, and those medevacs are going to heal those Marines. But we do have quite a muta bling contingent. So this might be able to get some significant damage done to the 3rd, because it is relatively undefended. Only a couple of Hellions and a couple of Marines in a bunker. And he's going to be STC is going to be driven right back. Vortix is just rolling on through with the Banelings. STC is not splitting his units up well enough. I think a big group of them just got obliterated by some Banelings, but there weren't quite enough in that force. But there is another large contingent of Lins coming down, as well as an infestation pit. That missile turret is going to take down a couple of mutalings, but the infestation pit is just about to finish up, and that is a lot of speedlings and banelings in production for Vortix. So it looks as though he's going to try more of the same. His lings are just going to start moving out, just take down the Xel'Naga watchtower, just so that he can, you know, do it under the cover of night. But we are going to just see the scouting baneling coming in, see where the army is, but Hive Tech is coming down as well as, I think that's, yes, that is 2-2 for the Zerglings and banelings. The bunker's not quite fully operational, but the defensive supply depots should take some of the baneling damage. I think each supply depot is able to hold 3 or 4 baneling hits, depending on like how many banelings hit at once, or neighbouring buildings, or splash damage and all that stuff. All the exciting calculations. But 2 Marines going to stim up ahead of the pack, just scout out what's happening. Those muters, I think they saw what was going on, so they got out of there. And that is another CC. STC might be doing the Taser tactic and building many command centres. But Siege Tank gonna just deny that expansion for now. Nothing is going to be mined from there. There's the scan, and there's the split coming out of the STC, trying to. And I think he managed to get quite a good hit on those banelings. But Vortix has lost quite a lot. The drop comes down now, and I think he's actually hitting some of his own. I think he actually hit one of his own troops there. But those infestors are going. There are so many infested Terrans down just next to tanks, and that is the entirety of STC's army, main army, going down. It's down to his backup now to try and clean up. And it looks as though Vortix is going to be able to come in from the back as well, thanks to that first failed attack. The tanks siege up, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to start firing at each other, and 1 tank goes down, 2 tanks go down. Baneling's clearing all the Marines up bar 2, and they're just now going to, as the Lings all scrabble at them, there is just a small SAS unit there. Even though the unit's lost weight in favour of STC, he needs to basically land this CC, and that Ling isn't quite in the right place to just block it, which is a bit disappointing on the part of Vortix. But oh no, he moved it in there so it would block it. That's some good sort of watching of what's going on. But the defensive supply depot's now protecting that bunker on 3 out of 4 sides, possibly 2.5. Don't quite know how many banelings you'll be able, or lings you'll be able to get in there, but quite a bit of defense. Sieging up this tanks on the high ground, just so that if there's any pressure coming, then he'll be able to deal with it, because siege tanks are good against a massive units because they have so much splash damage. But the Overlord Council of Elders is going to be meeting at the evolution chambers, which are now getting 3-3. And Lings with 3-3, they can survive a fair bit actually. I mean, with 2-2, they've got 35 health. So I don't know how much splash damage a tank does. It only does 38, so they can one-shot Zerglings. But with splash damage, I don't know how much that diminishing returns to. Because everything in a game nowadays is diminishing returns. But Command Center morphing into Planetary Fortress just to give the tanks an additional bit of help, dealing that extra splash damage. And yeah, I think it does splash damage, but I can't remember. I'm not a Terran player, so I don't quite know all the specifics, all the ins and outs. But sieging up on the low ground, the Medivac's able to provide sight of the high ground as well as those Marines. And a good couple of shots getting fired off onto those Lings just to make sure they're nice and toasty and on fire. But managed to take out that creep tumor, so creep will start to recede down there, making sure that the Zerglings can't get that good of a handhold into the Terran high ground now. With siege tanks just leapfrogging each other, whilst 2 are sieged up, the other 2 are unsieged, and it looks as though this bottom base, it might start to bleed out, but I think bleed out's actually the same as regen. But so it's not going to last very long with tanks, because tanks aren't very good for your health. Some of the overlords might now start to get targeted down as well, but I think he's concentrating on the sort of, you know, massive army. If we look at just the units tab, 81 lings, and that's the main army. But yes, there are going to be broods coming as well. So I've actually lost the main army. There it is. It's just marching along, making sure that no creep can go over the center of the map. And it looks like we're going to have a dual army force, and I don't think Vortix can see this yet. No, because that creep technically doesn't exist. And there, I think there's a lone, there's a lone marine just fending off that extractor. But the 5th and 6th base for Vortix are going up. However, STC is doing the Tasia build as many planetary fortresses and orbital commands as possible. But the secondary army, by the looks of it, is going to take down that 5th base. Well, no, that's 6th, I think. So that just leaves Vortix on that base pretty much mined out. So can I select all of them? No, it doesn't tell me how much they have on them. But there's only 4 patches there, so that leaves Vortix on. But there is a massive battle, and it looks as though the Marauders can't shoot upwards. So the Marauders are pretty much doomed. The Medivacs need to get out of there before the Corruptors and the Mutalisks can do anything about it. However, STC has more functional mining bases than Vortix at the moment, because this one, it's gonna get mined out, and it's gonna get mined out fast. This expansion, I think STC needs to deny that one next if he has a good chance of winning. But these Marauders, they can't shoot upwards. I don't know why it is, if the gun's too heavy or anything, but those broods are just going to decimate them. And that siege tank didn't even get a chance to take a shot off. But the damage is now stacking up for both players. 14k and 14k lost for each. And those Marines are just going to be slowly eked away. The glaive worms doing their work. And we do have quite a large force for Vortix as we follow them, and it looks as though it is going to, I think there's a few too many corrupts in there. Don't think quite need to take on as many Medivacs, but by looks of it, the planetary fortress does do splash damage. But there are too many of them. They're going to start eking away that planetary fortress. And that command center is going to float over there. The fact that it's not an orbital command means that that's going to be a planetary fortress as well. I think he might need to use one of his backup orbital commands over here. But there's the Thors are doing a tiny bit of damage, but the Vikings are now going to start to come in and pick off those Broodlords and Corruptors. And I think that STC might be able to have this battle if he can focus down the Corruptors well enough. But here come the Infestors. Good fungal on the Vikings and Thors, and on those Vikings as well. And those Thors and Vikings are just going to keep getting fungaled until there are no more, getting picked off. And I think that both players are now going to have to go into a rebuilding phase. But those Thors are going to be able to start doing some damage to the Corruptors. But the Broods have been taken down a lot. And good fungals on those, but it didn't quite kill them. Just needs a couple of Broodlings to finish off. And the Vikings are going down as soon as they sort of come in. And I think that's a missed rally, actually. And small group of Marines going to try to deny this base, and it looks as though they will. The drones are evacuated in time, and the orbital there is up and running, and that is morphing into straight into a planetary. But the Broodlords, I think, the last one goes down, and the Corruptors might start to get taken down as well. There's a stim, takes down one Infestor, takes down 2 Infestors, and I think that evened it out a bit. Just a tiny bit, but we do have ultras. Vortix has decided to switch his tech up because STC at the moment, from the production tab, it looks as though he thinks that there might be some more Broodlords. I don't know if he saw the Ultralisks. It might be a tough one. He has got quite a lot of Marauders in the composition though, so it looks as though he might have been expecting a tech switch up at some point. But there are 2 Ultralisks on the field by the looks of it. There were 4 actually. I think another 2 just popped out. Oh no, another 2 are just about to pop out, so there's going to be 6 Ultras on the field when we get to it. But it looks as though there was just a solo Marine just going in there, and it's now been sadly obliterated. I don't think killed just serves the purpose. I think you need to say obliterated, but it looks like we're going to have a push out with the Ultras and a few Corruptors for good measure towards the centre of the map. That Marine's just not going to know what's hit him. Another obliterated Marine, and all the Ultras are just going to try and start to come. However, STC has the high ground, but is a tiny bit choked. He can't get a decent concave on the high ground because of the rocks. So Vortix is going to pull back for a few minutes, well not minutes, probably about 30 seconds or so, which is about 3 minutes in game. I don't even know how in-game time works as a fraction. I think an in-game second is 0.89 of a real second. Sounds about right, judging by times of recordings and times of like games, but I don't know. In-game time, I don't know why they couldn't just sort of set normal in-game time to normal time, just make everything slightly faster. But presumably that would affect some calculators or something. There's the split, but there are no banelings really. But the fungals could go off. That one group of Marines gets fungled and then obliterated. But the Corruptors are going to start taking some fire. And the Ultras, oh there's the fungal, and the Ultras are just going to start chomping through those Marines. Just scything through, but if I put health bars on, all those Ultras are not on very high health. There's a couple that are on yellow, but all the rest are on red. I think that STC might start deciding to focus down the... And there goes one Ultra. Second Ultra goes down. Third Ultra goes down. There's the 4th. And there's the 5th, but at what cost? Those are a lot of Marines that went down in that battle. And the unit composition isn't looking too healthy for STC at all. He has about 2 tanks at the moment in that composition, but he has some more reinforcements coming up. He might try and push back into this 4th, well now back to 3rd base of Vortix. STC has been very good at manipulating Vortix into using only 3 bases to mine from, instead of letting him get up a massive number of bases, which would let him get maxed out much quicker. But that extractor is going to get denied. But there are a lot of lings. One tank's going to get taken down, and the other tank's going to stay standing up. And there's Vortix's GG. So it looks as though STC wins game 2. And I shall see you all next time.